it doesn't work, don't do it. And always be flexible, because what may have worked in the beginning may not work down the road. A lot of people I coach have blood sugar issues. They can't handle fruit in the beginning, but after about a week, sometimes 3 or 4 days, they can handle carrot juice. They can even handle apple juice.
So,
But we never know that. Yes?
yeah, there's this person that says like greens should not be cataloged as vegetables. You know, like you have fruit and vegetables, right? Well, there's something else, and she calls it greens. And the greens you can mix perfectly well with fruit because they're not vegetables.
Exactly. Your leafy greens, even when you're eating, you can add lettuce and celery with your fruit meals. When I'm coaching people who are hypoglycemic and they can't handle fruit by themselves, if they just add some celery or some lettuce with it, it slows the absorption down. So, good point. Thanks for bringing that up. The next two rules I have down here has to do with straining our juice and chewing our juice. Now, we don't necessarily have to strain our juice all the time. In fact, for some people, if they're having blood sugar issues, it may be best for them not to strain their juice. But I like my students to be convinced that what I'm saying is true. And I don't like for them to say, well, of course I'm having stuff coming out of me, but it's the fiber coming out. Well, if you strain all the fiber out and you're still having something come out of you, then you know for sure that it's stuff that needed to come out of you. We also want to chew our juices, meaning that we slosh them around our mouth before we swallow. At least the very first drink we make. That way the stomach knows what's coming on or coming down there. Normally when we're eating and we're chewing, that signals the colon what you're eating. So slosh your juices in your mouth. What's that old rule? You drink your solids and chew your juices. So when you're eating solid food, you make sure you chew it until it's liquid. Our teeth doesn't have any stomach, so we want to make sure and make it as liquid as possible. But then when you're drinking liquids, even if it's a smoothie, a lot of people drink smoothies and they don't leave it in their mouth. You got to chew it. You got to add saliva to it. Yes?
Would it be something, a lot of people are starting to make juicing easier. They'll blend up the stuff in the blender and then use a nut milk bag to, how does that work?
That's a definite option. I just watched a video on YouTube yesterday. I don't know if any of y'all seen this or not. Matt and Angela put out a video on their new juicer that they're real excited about. The Harum. Have y'all heard about the Harum juicer? It's a slow speed. It uses an auger approach, but then it also has a second stage, which the other auger juicers don't have. It presses the juice. It's pretty pricey. It's over $300. And you're really paying for the technology because you're only getting a 150-watt motor. That's not very powerful. And I've seen how the auger-type juicers struggle with things like carrots, and they even mentioned that in their little video. They're saying, when we put a carrot in there, it jams it up. We just put it in reverse, just like the Green Star has a reverse on there, and that usually makes it work okay. But I saw the size carrots she was putting in there, and they weren't much bigger than my finger, and they were already jamming up that juicer. So that may be an option for y'all. Victoria Bedenko was here recently. I understand. I missed her. What was she saying about the research she had done about the Vitamix? Because there's a lot of controversy on whether or not the high speed is destroying the life force of the food. Did she address that issue?
She did.
She did?
She was just talking about the fact that when you blend your food, then it's, when you blend it, then it's not going to oxidize as if you juiced it.
Because the fibers remain in it. With fiber remaining, it doesn't oxidize. When you just juice, you better drink it really quick. But she didn't say anything about the high speed.
I see. Okay. Well, that was Dr. Max Gerson's concern. If y'all know who Max Gerson was, he was a famous cancer doctor that was healing people using raw food. He had his patients drink 13 8-ounce glasses of juice every day, along with 3 raw vegan meals. Mostly raw. He did allow some people some cooked food because they had to stay on this protocol for several years, so they would give them a treat and have a baked potato. But what he found is that the people who used centrifugal machines weren't healing. And he believed it was the high speed that was destroying the life force in the juice. Just the speed of it was destroying the juice. So whether or not that happens with the Vitamix, I'm a little questionable about that. So if I had cancer, I'm not sure if I would want to use a Vitamix. For the rest of us, I'm sure that is a good option.
What would you use? What juicer do you use?
I have a Green Star.
Green
That's the one I use mainly. I also have an old Champion that, actually it's my second Champion, and I use that occasionally, but I prefer the Green Star. I'm sorry? Very good. Is it a slow speed? Very good, very good. And that's what this Huram is. It only spins like 85 RPM.
Why do you prefer the Green Star over the Champion?
I get about almost double the yield. If I'm juicing greens in the Champion, I get about a 50% yield. If I run it through the Green Star, I get about a 90% yield.
Is there a big time difference?
Yeah. Although the Champion always struggles with greens. The leafy greens, it's not a good machine for leafy greens. It does fruit well. And I've coached a lot of people, thousands of people, and when I'm coaching women that use that Green Star, they really struggle. It takes a little bit of elbow grease to pound that stuff in there. I'm pretty strong, so I have no problem getting in there and pushing it down. When I talk to women, they say, "Oh, it took me an hour and a half to do this. I can get it done in 20 minutes or a half hour." I don't. And I guess it's just because I'm just a hard worker and I got a little more muscle, perhaps. But that's a definite concern for a lot of us. If this is too inconvenient to do, we're not going to do it. We got to make this work, whatever. Yes.
On the Green Star, I found that if you take a vegetable that has the stem part,
It pulls it right in, doesn't it? I love it, yeah. When I'm doing spinach, I'll go to the trouble to take them off individually and just put it in one stem at a time, and it grabs it and pulls it right in.
yeah, it
Yeah.
does the wheatgrass, everything just
Wheat-
like
yeah.
that. You just use that part first
Yes.
instead of the leaf.
It's a lot faster instead of trying to force it, yes. Her comment was that when you use a Green Star, if you feed your produce in one item at a time where the blades are spinning like this, it'll